What's up, guys? Welcome back to Build Cool again. Today, we're back to work with our 1986 Honda Helix CN250. And in this episode, it's finally time to delete the coolant system off the front of this bike and start moving everything to the back. Well, we need to figure out where we're even going to put it. So we're going to start by removing the radiator. Well, we need to drain everything, then remove the radiator. We need to remove the overflow, remove the fill neck for it, and then we can start figuring out where everything's going to go in the back of this thing. So then once we get back there, we'll probably have to start pulling the fuel system as well, because I think the radiator is going to go where the fuel pump currently is. And then we'll have to relocate the fuel pump to somewhere else. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So off camera, I did go ahead and dig into this wiring harness. I've got everything marked out that I could figure out what exactly it was. There's some things that I'm not quite sure, but I do know that if I connect the wires to each other, it will continue to run. I'm going to have to delete that big bulky plug that's right up here in the front of this bike. So there is that. I wanted to go through and explode the wiring harness, but I feel like I just don't want to make a mess because I don't know where everything's going to live quite yet. So I need to go through and figure out where everything's going to go on this, and then I can finish up the wiring harness. So before we get started, let's go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so we can keep on building cool. This thing's going to be done before you know it, and you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out when we start riding this thing, because I want to do a lot of riding with this and thoroughly test it. But we need to finish building it before we can do that. So with all that being said, let's get started. So we planned to just pull the front of the cooling system, but I got excited and I wound up just pulling the whole thing. It was kind of in the way for if I try to put the radiator in there, so I'm just trying to clear out as much room as possible so I can have room to work in the rear of the frame back there. So the next thing in my way is the fuel system. So we're going to go ahead, pull the fuel pump, the fuel filter, those fuel lines, and who knows, maybe even the fuel tank itself. Because I'm going to have to pull that when I start to cut. I want to just be able to mock up the radiator, but I mean the next step is pull the fuel tank so that way I can cut it. So who knows, maybe we'll just go ahead and do the whole thing. So I'll go ahead, get you guys set up on the other side of the bike again. We'll go through, deal with that, and see how far we get. So with all that being said, let's keep going. Guys, so after another late night, we managed to go ahead and not only get the whole cooling system removed off of it, but we also got the fuel system all pulled. So the fuel pump, the fuel tank, the fuel filter, all the fuel lines, the radiator, the coolant hoses, all the stuff off the side is all off of here. So then in the next episode, we should be ready now to start cutting the frame on this. So we're probably going to cut that rear support brace thing in the rear there that was right behind the gas tank. That'll get cut out and I'll probably put the radiator right back in there. I was kind of thinking about trying to slant it in, but I'm going to try to play with it and see what I can do. I ordered a smaller radiator fan so I don't have to use what came on the bike because that fan was really, really big. So I got something a little bit smaller and I'm hoping that it's going to be able to make installing it in here a little bit easier. I want to be able to hide all the electronics I can. I see a nice little spot underneath the gas tank where the fuel pump could possibly fit, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to go ahead, we'll get the radiator installed in the next episode, and then we'll move along from there. Because we'll probably have to set the gas tank back in to figure out where the fuel pump's going to go, and it's going to go all over the map. But before we get out of here, let's go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so we can keep on building. This thing's going to be done before you know it. And like I said before, you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out when we take this thing on some crazy rides. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace!